Football means everything to Garrett McCoy.
It brings us boys, small community together, and we play as a team, we work as a team.
And in an instant, he nearly lost it all.
I don't remember anything from the beginning to the end of July.
He's told his brain blew up. July 7th, during a football weights workout, Garrett suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm. Linden coach Brent Holting remembers getting the call.
Terrifying. I mean, that's your worst nightmare as a coach.
Garrett was flown to St. Luke's Hospital in Kansas City, where he spent a month in a coma. The past 3.5 weeks, he's been at Madonna Rehab Center in Lincoln, Nebraska.
When I got there, I couldn't barely take like 10 steps.
But facing 4th and long, he was determined to reach a goal.
To get home.
After countless hours of physical, occupational, and speech therapy, Friday, number 74 returned, first to the field.
You bet.
Then to his friends.
Wait a minute, you can't start this yet. Well, this was senior.
He told them he'd return this weekend, but surprised them with a pre-game trick play.
It was a great feeling. Never had a feeling like that in my life. It means a lot, everything. You know, a football player is a player, and it's crazy how he fought. Came back.
They mean everything to me. Even if I can't play football, I'm still going to support them.
Knowing him and knowing the faith the family has and just how they are and how he is, I am not surprised at all to see him make a full recovery.
What's up, guys?
He's just a fantastic kid.
I'm just very thankful and blessed for all of you.
Garrett's view this season will be from the sidelines. The aneurysm makes it too risky to play himself, but he believes he'll draw up a new game plan.
I can't play football, which sucks, but then I'm still alive, which is a great thing. God created me to be alive, and I think I got some great things going on later.
Melissa Brunner, 13 News. Each day, Nina Rolfe hits the streets.
Let's head that way.
Looking for someone in trouble.
Come here, dude.
While her colleagues on the Topeka Police Department are the guardians of the people, she is an animal control officer.
Okay, do you know how he's getting out?
A guardian of the animals.
When he's out, he has to be on a leash, okay? Flat out abuse is not as common as just lack of knowledge or neglect. People don't necessarily know how to care for animals. It's actually a tether violation. The city ordinance says it's 15 minutes, maximum unsupervised. And really, that's a pretty heavy chain. So we like to give a little bit of a warning, give them a chance to fix it.
Beyond educating, they also befriend the strays. Turns out this little one is pregnant.
We'll give you a warm place to have your babies.
Got an injured cat, possibly hit by a car.
And they get help for the injured. A person found this cat in the street. Rolfe rushes it to Helping Hands Humane Society, where Dr. Alan Mergener is on staff.
I want to take an x-ray of that back leg.
Good news for Kitty, no broken bones.
Probably either soft tissue injury. What we'll do now is get some pain meds in and let him rest.
Then there are calls that bring frustration. Here, a neighbor was concerned about a dog tied outside and barking. Rolfe talks to the homeowner.
Yeah, the straw has to be up in there anytime it's under 40 degrees.
As we're about to pull away, the woman calls us back. She wants Rolfe to take the dog. As Rolfe returns to the door to discuss it,
I don't want it. I don't.
the woman's son grabs the dog back.
Oh, hey, you can't pick him up like that.
Rolfe spends several more minutes making sure the situation is calmed.
Yeah, if there's an instance where you can't keep him, you need to contact the Humane Society.
But there's nothing more she can do. Without proof of criminal neglect or a search warrant, she cannot go onto the property or seize the animal.
The physical condition of the dog didn't warrant us taking the dog out of the house. Just one time picking him up to get him away from the door. It's not good. I don't want to see it again, but I don't know that I could have it hold up in court if I were to write a ticket against him and take the dog.
How hard is something like this to drive away from?
Not easy, but it's one that I'll keep coming back to for a while.
Because they've seen worse. This dog was found abandoned 2 days earlier. It would typically weigh 70 pounds. He's less than 30.
I saw a lot of animals suffer and continue to suffer.
Lisa Pinkley heads up the unit. She's been an ACO for 31 years.
If it wasn't for our department, who is going to save the animals?
A couple years ago, Pinkley was the department. For 9 months, she was the only animal control officer. But with a renewed focus, it's moved into the law enforcement center with TPD and grown to 5 officers with new uniforms, new trucks, and new equipment.
We're getting the animals treated quicker, we're getting medical attention quicker, and they're able to get to adoptions faster.
Helping Hands Humane Society Executive Director Deb Malik sees the difference in the number of animals coming in, 15 to 36 a day. She says it's a good thing.
Animal control are the good guys. They and us are the voice of the animals. These guys can't talk. It wasn't this cat's fault that she was left in an apartment.
Yes, that's exactly where she was.
As soon as I unlocked the door, it took off.
The apartment staff spotted it in a window where residents had moved out 3 weeks earlier. ACO found her hiding spot in the basement wall behind the furnace.
But there's a lot of cat hair in there.
And left a trap. It's these happy endings that keep them going.
She looks better.
For all the tragedies, there's an abandoned dog like this, ready for a new home, or kittens born in a mattress in an alley, now getting stronger, and cats left in apartments, now filling their bellies, all thanks to their guardians.
Instead of thinking about retirement, I roll up my sleeves and I know what needs to be done and I get the job done. The most rewarding part is knowing that I was able to get an animal out of its abusive environment and bring it to safety.
Patty cake, baker's man.
Every time she looks at her 9-month-old son, Kason, Robin Osterhaus knows she's lucky.
I was addicted to meth. I was homeless.
Getting pregnant, she says, was no match for 6 years of addiction.
I mean, you live, breathe, eat, die, sleep, drugs.
But at 12 weeks along, after a night of using, she went to the ER and refused to leave until they got her into treatment.
I didn't want him to go through withdrawal. Like, knowing how bad withdrawals are, I couldn't imagine being a newborn baby and having to go through that.
It's heart-wrenching.
Unfortunately, it's something Deb Salisbury and the staff at Stormont Vale's NICU are seeing more and more often.
A lot of times babies are very inconsolable. Sometimes they have trouble just coordinating sucking, swallowing, breathing, and eat effectively. They're sleeping and can be having tremors. We try to make them comfortable by providing a decreased stimulation. So a lot of times the lights are down, it's quiet in here.
In Kansas, the counties in red, mostly urban areas, are seeing the highest rates of neonatal abstinence syndrome. Stormont treated 12 babies with NAS in 2015. It was 21 in 2016. While most babies go home after a couple days, babies with NAS average 12 days in the hospital. Nationwide, it adds up to $1.5 billion in extra medical costs each year. The families affected aren't always what you think. A recent CDC report found 14 to 22% of pregnant women filled a prescription for an opioid medication.
Some moms truly do have chronic pain, and that's how we typically treat chronic pain, is with narcotics. So there are effects to the babies, but you need to know that going in.
I looked for hippo on a bed, but
Robin knew the risks of the illegal drugs she was taking. Through treatment, she was connected with Kansas Children's Service League's Drug Endangered Child Case Management Program.
The goal of it is to really try to prevent that child from being born substance exposed, and so the earlier we can work with the parents, the better, and then also to just provide help and support and make sure that those children are continuing to develop appropriately.
With their help, Robin stayed sober and Kason arrived healthy and drug-free.
it was one of the proudest moments of my life. Knowing that I did it. That as bad off as I was and where I was coming from, that I made it and my son was gonna have a chance at a life.
Robin now has an apartment, a job, and is taking classes to become a social worker, an advocate for others, so she can pay forward what people did for her.
Don't be afraid to get help. The worst thing you can possibly do is not ask for help.
Every time Kansas Highway Patrol Master Trooper Ryan Moser gets behind the wheel of his patrol car, he reflects on those who came before.
As I get older in age, I think we can become more sentimental about what we do and our legacy.
In particular, his older brother Darren, a sergeant at the Johnson County Sheriff's Office, and their great-uncle Eldon Miller, a sergeant in the Kansas Highway Patrol, a man they never actually met.
My great-aunt Marion shared stories and uniform patches and some of the leather holster and belt that he wore.
The stories told were incredible. I mean, just of a hero, you know, actual street hero. That's just something you look up to as a boy.
Uncle Eldon was an Army Staff Sergeant in World War II, then joined KHP in 1953. January 19, 1968, he was assisting Johnson County Sheriff's deputies in the search for 2 bank robbery suspects.
And I just had talked to Eldon Miller.
Retired Johnson County Detective Ed Hayes was there.
Somebody yelled, "We need a car around here for cover," so I ran to the car, and he had beat me. And he was sitting there in the seat. He got shot through the windshield into the forehead. But I mean, he was dead instantly.
Sergeant Eldon Miller was the first Kansas Highway Patrol trooper killed by gunfire in the line of duty. Nearly 50 years later, Ed joined the Moser family as a permanent memorial to Sergeant Miller was signed into law.
He was a hero, and we honor his sacrifice.
Ryan and Darren's parents, Don and Barb Moser, spearheaded efforts to rename a stretch of Highway 75 near Yates Center, Eldon's hometown, as the Sergeant Eldon K. Miller Memorial Highway.
Thank you guys very much for doing this.
This is a long time coming, because he died a hero.
It'll be a daily reminder that Eldon gave his life for a purpose.
As they find their great-uncle's name etched in stone, Ryan and Darren admit they're perhaps just now realizing how much they embody Eldon's legacy.
I didn't realize that it would be such a big deal to be part of the community and the county where he died, and then my brother being part of the agency where he served.
They strive to continue his example. Each time they hit the road, they say, it's about more than just their family.
Lives are lost every day in law enforcement, and their sacrifice for you, for me. It's important to know that people out there are, you know, on your side and want to help and want to make a difference.
Yeah, this would be real cool here.
This isn't an ordinary video shoot.
Okay, Stephanie, action!
In rural Washington County, Chris Brickler is capturing the countryside.
And we can capture in high definition, very high definition, everything that's around us.
Using anywhere from 6 to 24 cameras at once.
It's really cool the way we can now stitch together spherical video.
So he can recreate it virtually.
Okay, that's great.
For a unique audience.
Virtual reality really isn't just for 23-year-old gamers anymore.
A few miles down the road, inside the Lynn Community Nursing Home.
Oh man, are they beautiful.
Residents like Marion and Lila
You're a big guy.
are enjoying places they've never been or maybe once were.
They're coming right for me. If you could just reach down and pat them. It looks like you're right there.
Brickler, with a background in film, and his business partner, Sean Wiora, who worked in senior care, chose Lynn as one of 5 pilot sites for their company, Mind VR, to test how virtual reality could benefit senior citizens.
We really think that there's an opportunity for seniors to enjoy this. They have time on their hands. There's experiences around the world that they haven't ever been able to do, and this provides them that experience.
It's not all just about fun and games. The hope is that by putting on these goggles here, a dose of being back here on the farm would be better than any dose of medication.
To me, the medication just masks the problem.
Lynn Administrator Janelle Wohler and her facility have earned recognition for efforts to use behavioral methods like music therapy to help patients with dementia and other cognitive conditions. Kansas ranks worst in the nation for giving antipsychotic medications to dementia patients, a condition for which those meds aren't to be used at all.
Most of us believe that it doesn't really do any good. It doesn't really get to the root of the problem of the so-called behavior that that person may be exhibiting.
Through music therapy, Wohler says Lynn went from 18% of their dementia patients taking antipsychotics to none. Now Mind VR is studying whether a dose of virtual music or other virtual experience could help even more.
It's a very new science.
The theory is a new experience. Like a big band performance can be enriching, while content specific to the individual, like what they're creating at the ranch, can calm.
It gives people a sense of familiarity about their past lives, maybe before they came into the nursing homes. And we think that has a lot of value.
You can see a bunch of people there.
Value in improving mental function, thereby fostering positive feelings and behaviors.
I feel real good inside. I'm more relaxed than I was when I started.
The virtual reality has been amazing.
Yeah, look, I can crawl them up on top.
I think that it reduces some anxiety. It makes residents happier. You'll see the effects yet later on in the evening that they are maybe more calm.
Be sure to turn around and look up.
And that is what living is all about.
It's amazing. Anything we can do, to me, to help our residents have a more fulfilled life is what we're here to do.